All right, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushua Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered abroad. This is the brother Barazaro here with a lesson, and Lord willing, that's edifying. And this lesson will be entitled, Your Refusal to Accept the Truth Doesn't Threaten It. Or the truth is not threatened by your refusal to accept the truth. All right, or something along those lines. And it's just pretty much going into, we see what's been going on with vocab Malone, right? Different false prophets popping up. Now you got guys like, Tazariak that's been moving the goalposts over the whole grape thing and, things like that, right? But the truth is still going to stand, right? No matter how many times that people try to, demonize the men of the Lord, change the doctrine, disrupt, the camps, whatever the case may be, the truth is still going to stand, and the truth is still going to stand true at the end of the day, we understand that the reasons why this happens is because these people, deep down in their spirit, they'll know that they cut, and these people want to live in, the delusions and the flesh, right? Maybe they're in the truth for ulterior motives. Something about the truth just, don't sit right with them. And ultimately, the Lord is just not dealing with them. They're just not part of the elect, So this is the book of Isaiah 59 and 15. It says, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. So when you win this truth, you automatically, you pretty much gonna have a target on your back. Whether it's the anti-Christian coming up, just a plain old Esau devil, even amongst those of our people, right? The 2/3 nigga that, is not, that doesn't accept that he's an Israelite, or no, accept that he's an Israelite, I'll say it like that. Or, the Israelites that are of the circumcision, those that know that they're Israelites, right? Go into the Bible, know about our history, things like that. But we're enemy to them too, because they demonize us as well. Like GMS has been the most, pretty much the most controversial camp, because we keep everything 100% raw. We don't sugarcoat, go around corners. We don't trim our way for the world, and people take offense to that. So us bringing out this truth, right, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, it's gonna rub a lot of people the wrong way, But ultimately, that's them. The scriptures say that you have to be fully transformed within the renewing of your mind. So if you're still clinging on to, Western philosophies and, things of the world and, that things of that nature, then, you're not truly transformed. You're not truly renewed. You got to understand that we're living in a society that's pretty much directly against the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the scriptures, So you really have to kind of, put off that old man, rewire your mind, and transform your mind in order to understand this, right? Because, the way things were done, in the ancient world, it's not done. The same way that things was done is not done today, And when you bring out those things and when you bring an emphasis on that, people get offended because they live in a world that's, against how things was done in the ancient world. You see? But I'm gonna get the next precept. This is 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. You see? So This is a prophecy as well. It says, not that the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times. So these days, right, the times that we living in, and that's what we seeing. A lot of people falling out the truth, right? People that claim to be an Israelite, they go back into the world, go back to Christianity, and even, these different anti-Christians coming out of the woodworks, were coming out and, teaching online, preaching online, taking a lot of points of what we bring out, but they're pretty much putting their own Christian, twist to it, like they'll go into prophecy on some things, but they don't want to go, they don't want to bring out who Babylon the Great is according to the Bible. They don't bring out who the devil is according to the Bible. You see? It says, two, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having a conscience seared with a hot iron. So that's it. A lot of these guys, that they're not gonna repent. Their conscience is seared. So what does that mean? Ultimately, they not the elect. If you constantly getting rebuked, constantly, getting, corrected, and, you can't get right, or you just, refuse to get it, then you just not part of the elect. All right. So that's a prophecy as well. So let's get this, 2 Peter 1:19. We have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place, until the day dawn and the day star arise in your hearts. So we have a more sure word of prophecy, and that's pretty much, the main focal point of our teachings, right? Prophecy, salvation, repentance, going into the mark of the beast, which is a part of prophecy, right? One of the main prophecies, other than Yahushua coming back, you have to be able to identify the mark of the beast, right? Its image, right? So the mark of the beast, which is the RFID micro-CHIP, the image being the laws, legislation, the system, and the beast being consistent of the Roman Empire, which would pretty much be the NATO and the EU. All right. If you don't understand what that is, then you don't have the sure word of prophecy. You have to be able to break this stuff down. If you're saying that the MOTB is sleeping with the white woman, is sin, is philosophy, is something that's not tangible, physically tangible, then you going off. All right, because the word mark in Revelation 13-16, right, it goes into charagma, which is something physical, a scratch, a etching, right? Something to be, put inside of you, implanted inside of you, right? Something that you would have in order for you to buy or sell or trade with. Something, and hey, we seeing that how technology is evolving, developing, advancing. We seeing it all lead to the micro-CHIP. Look at what's going on with the data centers. They don't want you talking about that, right? Look what's going on with the Neuralink. All right, everything's getting smaller. You're able to plant stuff and make transactions through chips, right? Everything being surveilled and all this. Why would Esau make it a philosophy, an embargo, right? When everything leads to you going look at development of AI. So all roads lead to the MOTB being the RFID CHIP. All right, and they want to make that one world government and do away with the a digital currency. So it has to be that. That's what it has to be. All right, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place, right? Because this truth, us being out in the highways and hedges, right? The body is like a light shining in a dark place, which is Babylon. This place is dark, it's wicked, it's being ruled by the wicked, the so-called white man, the devil. So we clearly see that, this truth is that light shining in that dark place. Verse 20 says, knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scriptures of any private interpretation, meaning that it's going to be an elect, right, remnant of Israelites that's going to understand the truth. Some people say, oh, it's your own interpretation of how you interpret it, or however you read it in your heart, however whatever your discernment is on the scriptures, that's what it. No, that's not what it's. All right. You have to have the truth. You have to be able to break down these scriptures, these prophecies, right, with 100%, 100% correctly. All right. And especially you got to know what the name of the Lord is. You have to know what the RFID hip is, right? You got to know who the Lord is coming back to save. Why he who his sacrifice was for. Why the sacrifice was necessary. All right. So you got to understand all that. Verse 21, it says, "For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of the Most High spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit." So ultimately, the Spirit got to be on you. The Lord has to be dealing with you. The scriptures go into how we were preordained to have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. To be the elect. The elect chose a remnant since the beginning of time, right? To be that chosen line. All right, tracking from Adam to Seth, right? Arphaxad, Enos, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, going all the way down, right, into the 12 tribes, right? So that's who the Lord is dealing with. Romans 3:3, "For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of Yahweh without effect?" So just because vocab is made a whole channel dedicated on, quote unquote, debunking, the Hebrew Israelites, that doesn't that has no effect on the truth. It has no effect on, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai still coming back to do his thing, because guys like vocab are prophesied in the scriptures, right? As we just read, guys like Bishop Nate, guys like in the Sakari, these guys are all back here today, man. So just because they don't believe or they come against the truth, just because they try to, Esau try to cover up the truth, no matter how he try to, it doesn't make the faith of the Lord without effect. And the scriptures go into the just shall live by faith, So before our very eyes, we getting ready to see, and which we have been seeing, right? We're seeing everything happening throughout the world, that's prophesied in the scriptures is taking place right now, right? The beast system, who the devil is, right? Who has the truth that the Lord is only dealing with Israel, the elect of Israel. We're seeing all that happen, the falling away, which I'm gonna get that actually. Second Thessalonians 2:3, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there'll come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." So the falling away came because, we went off as a nation, and the Lord, he stripped away our inheritance, for a certain period of time, or our heritage, Salakia, our heritage for a certain period of time. All right. We were brought on cargo slave ships, in chattel slavery, and, we completely, lost who we were as a people. But during these last days, starting with, the elder Abba Bivens, the Hebrew Israelite awakening started, going all the way to our apostles and elders, right, all the way till now. So now, Esau's been trying to cover it up, whatever, but, whatever Esau tried to do, it can't overpower the will of the Lord. All right. The scriptures go into nobody can resist his will. It says, "Except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition," which is Esau, getting revealed to be the wicked day by day. You got the Epstein files, right? You got the elites being exposed, right? Illuminati, whatever. So we know who rules the world, right? The Ish people, which the Ish people are Edomites, So now we know. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. And that's what Esau's ultimate goal is. That's why he wants to put, the C-hip inside of you for that ultimate control. All right? Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who not letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Because that's what the Lord is coming to do. He's coming to save the elect and destroy, right, the wicked. And those that are left over, Edomites, heathen, they're going to be left to build up the kingdom in slavery. All right. It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all powers and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause, Yahweh shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. And that's what's been happening, from these different Israelite camps to Christianity, anti-Christianity, right? Catholicism, Islam, they're believing a lie. It's a strong delusion, right? And that's all the Lord's doing, The Lord deals with who he deals with, and, those that he not dealing with, and the Lord ain't dealing with the heathen by default, but, he's also not dealing with the 2/3 of the nation of Israel. They got to be destroyed. So the Lord is only dealing with an elect remnant believers on this side that's going to receive the salvation. That's going to be the first fruits in the kingdom of heaven. That's going to be the first ones to receive those perfect bodies and rule in perfection and righteousness. You see? But that'll do it with the lesson, and Lord willing, it was edifying. So with that, I'd like to give all the honor and praise and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushua by Hashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.